Caitlin Clark is gone. Not injured, not resting, gone. Just minutes ago, news broke that the WNBA has quietly pushed her out of the spotlight and fans are losing their minds. But here's what nobody saw coming. The second this hit the headlines, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull exploded in a way that changed everything. What fans expected, a simple explanation. What they got, total silence. And silence speaks louder than words. No more playing nice, they didn't hold back. And what they revealed is shaking the entire league from the inside. This isn't just about one player being benched. This is about power, favoritism, media manipulation, and a league caught red-handed trying to control its stars. Then came the bombshell proof. The league couldn't hide. It started with a whisper. Then her name vanished from the starting lineup. Then the press noticed she wasn't warming up. No injury report, no official statement, just gone. Caitlin Clark, the biggest rookie star that WNBA has ever seen, suddenly sidelined in what fans are calling the most suspicious disappearance in league history. Within minutes, speculation erupted like wildfire. Some insiders claimed it was load management, others hinted at disciplinary reasons. But here's the chillin' reality. Those same insiders also admitted that something felt off, way off. You'd think talent speaks for itself. Think again, because this wasn't just a regular benching. Caitlin hadn't broken any rules. She hadn't missed practice. She hadn't performed poorly. In fact, she was leading her team in points, assists, and headlines. So why would the WNBA remove the one player who was single-handedly driving ratings, filling arenas, and bringing in a wave of new fans? And that's when the real story began to surface. Sources close to the league began whispering about unspoken conflicts between Clark and high-ranking league officials. Apparently, her outspoken attitude, her refusal to stay quiet during post-game interviews, and her growing influence on social media didn't sit well with everyone in charge. One particularly damning rumor suggests that during a closed-door meeting, Caitlin pushed back against league marketing decisions, calling them tone-deaf and out of touch with real fans. Within 48 hours, her minutes started to drop. Within 72 hours, she was benched, and now she's practically erased. But if the WNBA thought people wouldn't notice, they were dead wrong. Social media exploded with hashtags demanding answers. Comment sections flooded with angry messages. Even NBA stars chimed in, calling the move calculated and disrespectful to the game. The silence from the league only made it worse. That's when Sophie Cunningham stepped in, and everything shifted. Sophie didn't wait. While reporters scrambled for answers and fans flooded the league's inbox with outrage, Sophie went scorched earth. During a fiery post-game interview, she skipped the usual cliches and dropped a verbal bomb that left everyone stunned. You don't sideline your biggest star unless you're scared of her power. That single sentence traveled faster than anything the WNBA's PR team could control. Clips of Sophie's bold call-out hit every social platform like a missile, and she didn't stop there. What happened next would shock everyone. She accused the WNBA of playing political games with players' careers. She slammed the league for being more interested in control than progress. Clark wasn't benched for basketball reasons. She was silenced for speaking truth. Fans rallied behind her instantly. Her courage lit a match the league never expected, and the flames were spreading fast. But Sophie wasn't standing alone for long. Lexi Hull didn't post a statement. She didn't do an interview. She walked into the press room after practice, looked straight into the cameras and said, "If Caitlin Clark can be treated like this, what do you think they'll do to the rest of us?" That was it. No fluff, no corporate tone, just a raw, unfiltered truth bomb that silenced the entire room and cracked the WNBA wide open. The internet was about to explode. That one sentence turned into a wildfire. The clip went viral instantly, not just among WNBA fans, but across all of sport. Commentators from ESPN to YouTube were suddenly asking the same question. What the heck is going on behind closed doors at the WNBA? In a follow-up post, she shared a black and white photo of herself and Caitlin with one word in the caption: loyalty. Sources say Lexi has been one of the most vocal voices in team meetings ever since the drama started, challenging coaching staff directly. And then came the cryptic tweets that changed everything. Lexi posted then deleted a message that read, "If you want to build a legacy, stop silencing the ones who create it." Fans screenshotted it immediately. It spread across Reddit, TikTok, and fan pages like wildfire. Together, Sophie and Lexi had just formed a front line. The league was now facing a full-blown uprising, but the fans, they weren't just watching quietly anymore. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, it all went nuclear. Hashtags exploded in real time. Sports forums were overrun. WNBA posts were bombarded with angry comments. Within 24 hours, the entire internet had turned this story into something the league could no longer ignore. Fans began compiling evidence, timestamps, clips, quotes, side-by-side comparisons of player treatment. They tracked how WNBA social media channels had reduced their Clark coverage, accusing the league of deliberate erasure. Then came the league's response, and it made everything worse. After nearly 2 days of public outrage, the WNBA finally broke its silence with a carefully worded corporate statement. It didn't name Caitlin Clark. It didn't acknowledge the controversy. Instead, it chalked everything up to strategic rotational decisions and urged fans to trust the process. Fans expected accountability. What they got was corporate speak. The backlash was immediate. Sophie responded with a subtle eye roll emoji on Twitter. No caption needed. That one emoji racked up tens of thousands of likes in minutes. Lexi reposted a clip with razor-sharp sarcasm. So we're pretending this is normal now. The numbers were brutal. Merch sales plummeted overnight. Ticket returns surged. Cities that had been selling out arenas for the first time in years were suddenly staring at empty seats. But here's what shook the league to its core. Behind closed doors of multiple locker rooms, alliances were forming. Players were getting ready to fight back from within. The situation wasn't just controversial anymore. It was radioactive. Veterans versus newcomers, silence versus rebellion, loyalty to the badge versus loyalty to the truth. A growing divide was forming across the league, and Sophie and Lexi, they weren't fit. In a joint interview broadcast live across sports networks, Sophie and Lexi looked straight into the camera without flinching. Sophie dropped the line that broke the internet. If this is how you treat the player who built your league, no one said. It was cold, ruthless, unapologetically real. The room fell silent. Lexi followed without missing a beat. We've been told to stay quiet for too long. Not anymore. The line in the sand had been drawn. Clips immediately went viral. Commentators called it the most honest moment in league history. NBA players retweeted with fire emojis. Even rival WNBA stars began reposting with captions like "Finally" or "Say It Louder." Independent media outlets began publishing deep dives into WNBA internal politics. Former players came forward with stories of being silenced or overlooked for speaking out. Suddenly, it wasn't just Caitlin Clark under a spotlight. It was the entire league, and in the middle of it all stood Sophie and Lexi, no longer just teammates but revolution. The movement reached a whole new level. Fans organized campaigns urging sponsors to choose sides. The message was clear: back the players or lose their money. Every executive, every policy, every silent fine and behind-the-scenes threat was being dragged into the light. The era of fear was over. The stars were done playing by unspoken rules. But here's the question that will haunt the WNBA forever. If they can silence Caitlin Clark, the player who single-handedly saved their ratings and filled their arenas, then who's really safe in the future of women's sport? And more importantly, what happens when the players stop asking for permission to speak their truth? The revolution has begun. The only question left is whether the league will adapt or watch its biggest stars walk away for good.